This ritual has been passed down in our family for generations. Hundreds of years ago now, there was a great warrior called a Jedi who came to this planet and died here. But first, he entrusted this treasured sword to our ancestor. Through his teachings, this ancestor was taught how to wield the blade, and ever since, both it and those techniques have been passed down for generations. We're a proud family. This sword is both a symbol and proof of our unwavering resolve. I want you to understand that. All right. Now do exactly what I tell you.
Welcome to KonKon's Cantina. Grab a drink, sit back, and relax.
What is up, everybody? It is your boy. So good. It's KonKon back at it again.
We are back.
We
back.
are back. Guys, thank you very much for joining us this week at KonKon's Cantina, the number one Star Wars drinking podcast in the galaxy, Justin. The numbers are in. The numbers are in.
Confirm. Milky Way is officially ours.
Listen, every time we come to do an
Andromeda,
episode,
you're next. We're coming for you.
Andromeda is on the list. You know, we have the Phantom Menace, the it's the whole parade
Gungan
scene,
celebration,
the whole
yeah.
Gungan celebration that happens every time me and you. Everyone's like, no longer number one. No longer number one. Guys, once again, thank you for joining us this week at KonKon's Cantina. Of course, I am Konnor Jackson, a.k.a. It's KonKon, and sitting across from me, as always, the partner in crime.
The one and only.
The
Jay
one and only.
Beasy.
Jay
Justin Alan Baker. I don't know if I've ever given my middle name. It's Alan.
You have given it a million times on the show. You know that, right?
Jarvis Arvin Beaker.
Are you dying? What's in your eyes?
I have something in my eye that is stinging. Like, I don't know what I just did. I think I'm crying. I'm so excited for this episode. That must be it.
That's exactly what it is, guys. This week on KonKon's Cantina.
Oh, I touched that onion. It's the onion. I rubbed onion into my eye. That's what I did.
That'll do it.
That did it.
You dodo.
I should wash
That's
my
a real
hands more
Luke
often.
Skywalker move.
That was like an hour ago. I should wash my hands.
Bro, we're in a pandemic, bro. Wash your hands. Come on. Come on, bro. Housekeeping, guys, as you already know, real quick. Still got to do it in case you are new. Thank you very much for joining us this week at KonKon's Cantina. We have some new reviews
Yes, we do.
to read. I'm going to pull those up right now. As you know, we read all reviews. And listen, we want them to be personal, okay? Make fun of us. Like, it's part of the fun. I think that's an energy that you and me bring to the show.
Yes, you have to make fun of the people you care about the most.
Yeah, exactly. If you're not making fun of
we are the greatest podcast.
Yeah,
so
come on,
you make fun of us.
You make fun of us. But this one is from Crossroads 7482. You had something to say about this written
let
review.
us know who you are, Crossroads, because as with all written reviews for right now, I don't know if it's going to last forever, but if you can prove that that is your account, we will send you a free shirt.
We will send you one of our podcast shirts. So once again, Crossroads, send us a DM.
Now, we have a lot of scumbag friends that are just going to say, that was me.
It was me.
We got to have some type of proof.
Yeah, it's your iTunes account. That's how it. Yeah, you
send us a picture of your phone,
send us a screenshot,
your password, and we'll then confirm that.
Yes, with the last 4 digits of your credit card number and your mother's maiden name.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you know. Send us a DM on Instagram, and we would love to get you a shirt. This message says, "I absolutely love this show. Thank you. We very much appreciate that. You know, come on,
He's talking about me.
it's just you, really. I mean, you bring the people. Let's be honest." It's nice to listen to a Star Wars podcast that isn't bashing everything other than the original trilogy. Wait, don't we kind of do that?
Don't listen to the TOB1 episode.
Don't listen to the TOB1. Don't
listen to the Bad Batch.
Don't listen.
Skip those.
Listen, we're always honest to the people. We'll never lie.
We still
We
want
never
things
lie.
to be good.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
we even when we give some negative, we always find a positive.
It
spin.
eventually, I mean, there'll always be a crossroads that we meet.
Yes. Speaking of crossroads, These guys do a great job of voicing their opinion without negativity to other people. The character study of Ahsoka Tano is my favorite episode. When will you guys get around to doing a character study for Anakin?
That was a great question because we've been slammed with content dropping we have not had the time to do another a character study. A movie covering a movie in depth like we have before, so
I feel like
it ain't gonna be anytime soon because now we do have
some downtime coming up between Book of Boba Fett. We do want to cover Dune, but I feel like we talk about this often. But really quick, of course, me and you both work full-time jobs.
Right.
We both have families. We have some insight into like how we do the
budding
podcast.
helium careers. Me and Justin, we have a shared note where we put like podcast ideas and all these things. And one thing that we talked about, and the first one was Ahsoka, was we wanted to do character studies where we brought up all this information. Anakin was on there, Vader was on there. We even had a discussion about, do we make Anakin its own episode? Do we make Vader and Anakin the same episode? We decided that they were going to be separate. Yeah, because I mean we've also discussed, is it fun to do a character study on the big names that everybody knows, or would it be fun to do some character studies and shed some light on some really cool characters?
We did Cad Bane.
Like Cad Bane have some content, whether it's video
Car episode.
Yes. Yeah. Maybe a Bosk episode if we're going to see Bosk in
exactly.
Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah.
So those are all ideas that we're bouncing around. It's
ideas. It's time. It's all time, guys. Thank you very much for that review, Crossroads. Once again, shoot us a message on Instagram. That is where we have DMs open, and we would love to get you a shirt.
Yes.
And of course, as Crossroads did, guys, please leave a review for this podcast. It really does boost the numbers. Apple literally gives you an algorithm about how ratings help. It's a legitimate thing. It's not something that people make up. It genuinely helps.
It's really the only way to,
besides directly sharing the episode to somebody,
but it's the only way to air quote beat the algorithm is by, you can have a show that's been in there forever, and the second you start cranking reviews, it bumps you up. So that's the best way to help the show.
Yeah, it definitely helps. The agenda of this episode, of course, we'll be talking about Star Wars Visions Episode 8. We're wrapping up, Justin. Are you sad?
Mixed emotions.
Yeah.
Mixed. Some I've truly enjoyed. Some have been exhausting. Some I've enjoyed rewatching, and I've liked them more. Some I've liked less after rewatching. So I'm mixed emotion here, heading into 8.
I'm glad that we went against the grain and didn't cover everything at once like other people did, which is perfectly fine. We chose not to do that.
When you have some time to let it sit and stew and resonate and then rewatch it again after that. Yeah. I like we always have the best ideas.
Yeah, come on, let's go.
Don't get
McLeod. Listen, it's Connor McLeod or nothing. Guys, as you already know, Instagram, Facebook, now on TikTok. KonKon's Cantina podcast on TikTok. Go over there.
That was all me. I did all that.
I will show us some
Connor's
love.
Been crushing the TikTok game. I am too old to understand it.
The TikToks have been shout outs to the Kiati Mundi clip. That is the and shout outs to Kilkey Factory for coming up with the Photoshop
picture. Niles again. God dang it. He got me good.
It's perfect. Go over to TikTok, tiktok.com. KonKon's Cantina podcast. We have some clips up there, some points that we'd like to bring out, and there's a lot of Batu content up there. If you want to see me swing around a lightsaber as a grown man dressed in my Disney bounding outfit, trust me, it is the content for you. But let's be real. This is the reason why we are the number one Star Wars podcast, okay?
Yes.
I mean, come on. We are a Cantina podcast, so we're going to go to Cantina right now.
Welcome to KonKon's Cantina. What are you having? But remember, no droids.
And Goku Wannabe, he was the person before last to leave a written review. He got a shirt too.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he was up in St. Augustine. So, listen, it's real. This week, both of us are doing... Well, you're doing an Irish whiskey.
Yes, I am.
I am doing a straight bourbon. I am doing Clyde Mays. You can see that on the camera here if you're on the YouTube.
First time I bought that was surprise, the artwork, because it is very cool looking.
It is a cool looking bottle. I love the old style, working man. It's kind of got like some railroad pictures on there.
He almost reminds me of like an old timey boxer for some reason. Whenever I like glance at it, I know
yeah,
that's
I can
not
see
what
that.
he is, but I see like a put your dukes up, type of a guy.
Yeah, very very cool bottle. It's 92 proof, so that brings it down for me. I'm 100 or higher man myself. The flavor profile also, it's not there, but it is really smooth.
It's got a really nice color to it. Like the color is very
my
like
mic, my bad.
caramel. Like
It's
darker color.
It's darker.
Like, it looks very appealing in the
And usually
in the glass.
on the lower end proofs, they're a lot lighter, like way more blonde. But like you're saying, this one does. It has way more of a color. And it doesn't have a bad aftertaste. If this was even maybe 98 proof, I think I would bump it up even higher
I think
because
it's only like a $28 bottle on average. It's like it hangs around $30, doesn't it?
depending on where you get
Yeah.
it, 28 to 34. It's not a rye. Once again, it's a regular whiskey. It's middle of the road, but I do think that it's, for the price, it's still good if you can get it for that 28. I'll go 6 out of 10 Mandos. It's definitely not bad. It's not rubbing alcohol. It definitely has some flavor profile, but it is still lacking some stuff, especially proof. So 6 out of 10 for me.
I'm drinking Old Tom Horan Irish whiskey. This I've seen on your shelf for a very long time.
You're whoring around so much.
Ooh, I've seen this
there
on
it
your
goes.
I've seen this on your shelf for a very long time.
Yes.
I honestly did not know. I knew it was an Irish whiskey. I did not know whether it was a high quality, low quality, middle of the road. So I tasted my first sip to even see if I wanted to talk about it, and it was pleasant. I will use the word. It is an 80 proof, so it's really low.
It is
which
low.
is probably why it can taste smooth for being as cheap as it is. It is a $19.99 bottle, so this is a bargain Irish whiskey. If you like Irish whiskeys, I would definitely think this is great for like a 7 at 7.
I was
type
just
of a
going to ask
situation.
you. I can't think of anything that I would mix Irish whiskey with. 7-7 is a great
Yeah,
one.
like
Can
so
you
it's
do
basically
like a,
if you don't know what that is, it's just ginger ale and whiskey. Mm-hmm. Uh-oh.
Oh, well,
Well, we're just going to electrocute ourselves now because
Yep.
the drink is spilled over.
I just spilled a bunch of water.
But yeah, this is great, I would say, for that. It's okay to sip on. Pleasant is the word I use, but there's nothing really fantastic about it, and it's not a high proof that I enjoy. But it's not gross. I like this.
Me and you both like the higher proof stuff. We like a bite.
But I also appreciate a lower proof, like 80s and 90s. Sometimes are very enjoyable to drink, and sometimes I'm not looking for a high proof. Sometimes I just want a chill, relaxing, lower proof that's smooth.
Yeah.
I would say I like this honestly better than Proper 12. I don't care for Proper 12, which is a big one. Why can't I think of the MMA fighter's name right now that is the owner of it?
What's my name?
Oh, Conor McLeod. No, Connor. What's his name? Dang
Conor
it.
McGregor.
Thank you. Too many Irish names. But don't like it as much as a Jameson. I like it more than a Proper 12.
That surprises me, and it also makes me happy because I think I like Proper 12 a little bit more than you because Proper 12 has a little bit more of that scruff. It has a little bit more dirt to it. That one is way on the smoother, blonder end, I think. Yeah.
I think this definitely has a place. Like, if they were out of Jameson and you were looking for the same vibe, you could pick this bottle up and
How
not be
often do
disappointed.
you just drink Jameson, though? I feel like not a lot of people do that.
That's honestly, Jameson is what got me into whiskey. Like, I don't even know how long
Dude,
ago,
it's funny
10,
you say that
15 years
because
ago.
Jameson Black Barrel, I think, is what got me.
Jameson, it was like the first, and it was the first thing I would drink straight. It
Yeah.
was the first thing I tried. So I have an appreciation that's probably more nostalgic than delicious of Jameson.
Yeah, I can see that. Rating?
I give this a 5 out of 10.
Middle of the road? Okay.
Like
Dang.
right down the middle.
So we gotta get some more exciting stuff up in here, which we will. We gotta get some more stuff. But let's be honest, guys. You are here for the overview of episode 8 of Visions.
This is another very divisive episode, man. People
Wait, who doesn't like this episode?
I've
I
seen
need
a
names.
lot of people online.
I love this
that
episode.
just they don't get lop. Like they don't get.
I guess I could see how you don't get lop, but to me, let's go through our first bullet points.
Okay.
The anime style.
Absolutely
10 out of 10.
love the art. The style.
10 out of 10.
Perfect. Yeah.
Perfect. Voice acting. Did you watch both English and Japanese?
I watched Japanese first,
Yes.
and that was only when it dropped. And then since then, I've watched the English twice.
I think both English and Japanese are 10 out of 10. I think that the dad himself is actually better in English than he is in Japanese. And I've said this before, Japanese can sometimes have this tendency to sound whiny.
Yeah.
And Lop is really, really whiny in the Japanese version. I think she's exactly
high pitch, like screamy.
Yeah. So I don't know if that's a cultural thing, personal taste. I don't know. I think that she is better English, so I preferred English. Voice acting, 10 out of 10. What about you?
English all the way for this episode for me. I don't think the Japanese was bad, but I enjoyed this one more because there's a lot going on in the animation. So I like watching the animation. I don't like having to read and then kind of watch back and forth, ping-ponging my eyes. So English, as an English speaker, I enjoy this better. But I don't know. That's how I feel.
Overall, if you had to really quickly, because you said this was divisive, which that was news to me. I thought that the majority
I see a lot of
really,
mixed.
I really, really like this episode.
A lot of people, first of all, they don't know Jackson, who is a very old, like since 78 or 77 character from Star Wars in the comics, who's been around forever, where it's the same species that this rabbit species came from.
Yep.
So they see this and like this.
Is that confirmed that they're the same species?
Yes.
Or are we just okay?
No,
you looked that
they're
up.
the same species. Yeah.
Okay, because he's like white and very Roger Rabbit looking.
A lepi, or lepi.
Okay, because she looks more
Also known as a lepus carnivorous.
okay. Because she is more. I feel like I like her style more than Jackson. Mm-hmm. She's more like Hobbit rabbit, if that makes any sense. Like, his ears are up, her ears are down.
Her ears are more like hair, and he hair. But hers are more like actual hair, whereas his are like Roger Rabbit or Bugs Bunny, like stand-up ears.
He reminds me too of, ironically, more of a Marvel character than a Star Wars character. But he made his appearance in Marvel Comics for Star Wars, right?
Well, he made his appearance in 78. He's one of the like early comics, like is where he came from, and he has a whole storyline with him and Han Solo and him and Lando.
Who was the comic maker? Dark Horse?
In the 70s, I honestly
That's
don't
what I'm
know
saying.
that off the top.
I know.
Probably
Marvel.
Their own, I would guess.
No, it's got to be Marvel because
I don't think it was Marvel because that's a new acquisition. But anyway, like it's a super old school species, but it is very left field from everything else you've seen in Star Wars. It's very cartoon.
Yes,
you could call it.
Yeah, Jackson looks like he's related to Bugs Bunny. More than she is related to him. So anyway, is that where some of the disconnect people?
Yeah, it's just people like see a rabbit bouncing around on things. They're like, "What the heck? This isn't Star Wars."
Yeah, I really enjoy it. I think that the adaptation of where humanoids come from with Star Wars is one of the greatest things about not only Star Wars, also Star Trek. Sci-fi in general is this adaptation of humanoid species that can mix between the two. You know, I think in the notes I literally put she's a rabbit humanoid of sort. And that's something I really enjoyed. I loved that this story to me is very, very, very Star Wars.
Very much so.
We have a government that comes to the planet. They take over the planet. Obviously, it's the story of the Empire. They're taking advantage of the planet. I loved pretty much everything about this episode. So before we get into the recap, did you have anything else?
I mean, we'll talk about the studio. It was Geno.
Just go right into
studio.
it.
I didn't really find a whole lot about it, but I'm not the biggest modern anime buff. My anime period that I was super into was like 90s and early 2000s, so there's nothing that stood out in my mind as like, oh wow, they did this. But other than that, I mean, the opening of this episode was pretty cool.
Yeah, the opening. So we'll get right into the recap. And another thing that like really made me appreciate this episode is shout outs to the Old Republic podcast, because they had a special guest. I don't have her name off the top of my head. It was their episode before last, but she was the one that made me realize that me and you are absolute idiots. And
it took a stranger to make you believe that?
It did. It did. And because if you go into the extras on
Disney Plus,
on Visions, there is like a video on each individual maker for the episodes, and me and you didn't know that.
Nope.
Now we do. So I watched
I don't
watched some of them.
instinctively know to go to the extras on Disney Plus, like a
See,
Blu-ray
it's
or DVD.
It's because we don't, and I was just
Like-
about to say, it's because we don't buy the Blu-rays and the DVDs anymore.
That's
But
cool to know. I'm gonna look for other stuff too.
Exactly. Yeah, it's definitely something I'm going to look for, because usually when we get these extra things from Disney Plus, it's its own thing. The gallery with the Mando, it's not in extras. The gallery is its own thing.
Yeah, it's a separate documentary almost. of it.
Exactly. And even anyway, whole nother thing. Let's get into this
Marvel
recap.
had the same thing. Yeah.
Had the same thing with each one. So this episode 8 of Visions, which is Lap and Ochi.
Ocho.
Thank you. I did it again. And I love how I did it right later. It's just that first
one you misspelled.
First one, yeah. A Death Star drops from hyperspace. The world below Tau struggles to modernize. Because of this, the Empire is welcomed to the planet to bring them into the new world. This is a common theme we see throughout Star Wars.
Yep.
It's kind of the same thing that almost the Separatists preached against the Republic.
Yeah.
Which is, don't be held down by tyranny.
Yeah.
We'll
Moving
bring you
in,
freedom. And
exploiting for resources and
Exactly.
holding down.
Exactly.
The other thing that I love about this opening is there's only been a couple that do this, but it gives you a great opening with a monologue that acts as the crawl.
Yes.
And this is what I think a lot of the episodes were missing, because you're immediately almost playing catch up for trying to figure out
What's happening?
the scene
Where
of
am I?
what's going on.
Who is this?
This opening monologue does such a fantastic job of setting you up for that. Just kind of like the Ninth Jedi did the same thing.
Exactly.
It's what I feel like you have to have. Star Wars started the crawl. If you don't have the actual physical crawl, just this little monologue thing does such a great job of you immediately know what's going on and where you are and who the players are.
And a huge thing about that too is timeline. Like when we're seeing Star Wars trilogy movies, we know what part of the timeline we're in. We have no idea with any of these Visions episodes where we're at in the galactic timeline, in the crawl. This narration, which was done by a female, voice acting once again, really, really good. Appreciated listening to her explain this. So, however, of course, the people have become unhappy with the Imperial oppression. Lop, a rabbit-like humanoid, runs through the streets. Overlooking the great city in the distance, we see what appears to be some sort of a mining plant. I'm assuming this is the resources that they're there for the planet. Power plant, whatever the case may be. She is grabbed by a large man. Boss Yasaburo notices that she is a labor slave for the Empire. She has like that collar thing.
Right.
I'm trying to think.
She was like pulling Aladdin-esque.
Exactly.
Aladdin-esque, like
Yeah.
super acrobatic, bouncing through the city, stealing food. She had TD, her little droid.
Dude, TD is once again, Visions has brought new droids almost every single episode, and TD is one of my favorites.
Floating with the pineapple.
Yes,
and she's eating the gross-looking fruit.
I really, really enjoyed TD, and TD reminded me of. Did you watch Love, Sex, and Robots on Netflix?
I didn't make it through the whole thing. I saw about half of them.
Did you see the one where it's the robots that have survived the end of humankind and they are touring all the major cities in the US? Like
Yeah.
what the one droid that has the square face with it Flubber, Phoebo. It reminded me of
okay.
Phoebo,
Yeah.
Disney Phoebo, Robin Williams. That just the face. TD really reminded me of Phoebo, and also reminded me of Love, Sex, and Robots with that one.
Man,
but
I haven't thought about that show forever.
it's kind of like the same thing.
All
all
one-offs.
different studios.
Yeah, one-shots of different things.
One shots, all different things. Yeah, and I like the Aladdin parallel. I didn't even think about that.
That's what I thought of. She's like bounding through the city.
Yeah,
she's
yeah.
obviously super. Her species is super
Parkour.
acrobatic, and just
She got them big feet.
stealing some foods.
Got them big feet. The young girl offers her kindness and joining their family. Also, the slave collar. It reminded me. We see the same collars in a Solo story.
Yeah,
when they
yeah,
go
yeah,
to
yeah.
not, I want to say Kessel. It's not Kessel. No, it is Kessel. The mining.
No, it's Mimbin, because they're Mimbin troopers. That's the only way I remember that. The mud troopers are Mimbin troopers.
Yeah, I'm talking
where
about
they're
where
covered
they
in mud.
Yeah, not that though.
Not
when they go and they rescue, when they go to steal the coaxium from the Kessel mines, and the other Wookiees have the same
Yes,
collars.
They're all yes. Okay.
Yeah.
I think of the wrong slave portion of that.
Hey, you remember Mimbin? I'm impressed. Listen, get my number later.
Once in a while.
You know, hey, you pull a rabbit out of the hat.
I'm a dank
That was
ferret.
a really bad.
Oh, I see what you
Pull a rabbit out of. Anyway, back to the recap.
That was a good concept.
Hey, thank you. I appreciate that. The new family wanders down to the beach, and the family takes their first family photo.
That was my first joke. Is the dad comes onto the beach, he goes, "Dank ferret."
He does. Listen,
Like old man pissed off dad immediately.
already pissed.
Freaking kids. The other funny thing is when they're down there on the beach, and they Ocho kind of like tries to bring him into the family, and the dad resists a little bit at first, and then he says yes, and then they take the restraining thing
collar.
off. The TD just took it off.
Yeah.
Like, bro, why didn't you do that? Like, there was no new information.
He has like a
You're part of
RFID
the,
chip.
you're part
that
of the family now. So he's like, okay, I'll laser this off you now.
yeah.
I was like, what the heck? That's her droid. It just let her like sit for like days, months,
decade.
who knows how long.
Who knows how long?
She's like, you could do this
She's
the
like,
whole time.
She's like, hey, you want to bust out of here? TD's like, nah, not yet. No, sit here a little bit while longer.
They got oil baths here.
Yeah, they got oil baths. Yeah, we ain't going nowhere. 7 years go by, and I love that we actually get something that says 7
Designated
years
timeline. Yeah.
because that's something that doesn't happen often in Star Wars.
Yeah.
Usually we have to like figure it out. You
Yeah.
know, gap between episode 1 and
What
episode
events
2.
have they talked about that we can try to place? Yeah.
This we actually get a timeline. So 7 years later, we are back at the Imperial power plant. An accident of some sort has taken place. A large explosion has happened. Lop and TD rush to the noise of yelling. Yasaburo expresses his hatred for the Empire.
Mm-hmm.
I really like the names so far.
Very samurai.
Yasaburo,
Yeah.
Ochi,
Ocho, which
Ocho.
is just the number 8 in Spanish.
Maybe I just really like Ochi. I don't know.
Ochi sounds more anime than Ocho because Ocho is like
Isn't Ochi?
Spanish.
Ochi is from Rise of Skywalker. Maybe that's why I keep saying it. It's the Sith Hunter.
Maybe.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Ochi. Anyway.
Oh, the one who's dead.
And there's also Ochimaru from Naruto.
All I'm
it's
thinking
like
of is
super
there's,
Japanese.
Mochis, the little frozen
Dang,
Japanese
dude, that
dessert.
sounds so good. Thanks for that. Now I want that. And once again, we have this extremely Star Wars parallel of Empire has come, we have oppression, and this is the planet that Yasaburo has grown up with, and he doesn't want the Empire to take advantage of the planet anymore. Ocho makes her feelings known about the Empire. She feels that they're needed. The Empire is a welcome presence there. To bring them from the past and continue into the future, Ocho feels that the Empire must stay. Lop expresses how much she cares not only for the planet, but the new family that her sister and her father has given
Yeah,
her.
she's playing peacekeeper. They're
Yeah.
at each other's throats already.
Yeah. You know, one thing that I kind of wish that we would have touched on, which it's not crucial to the story, but what happened to Mom?
Yeah.
You know, Ocho had to have a mom. We could have gotten some sort of a mention, especially... I don't know. It would have hit a little bit more.
Rewatching this episode, it was also interesting to kind of look at Ocho in that first scene, like on the beach, and how she was the one that was, call it like honest-hearted, kind-hearted, wanting to bring Lop into the family, and the dad was the one that was kind of stubborn, grumpy old man.
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
no, I don't think we need to do this, blah, blah, blah. She's not even part of this, whatever.
Yeah.
But just to see the shift in Ocho, like, she completely went from the pure-hearted person into resisting against the dad into just a straight-up evil person.
Yeah. Yeah, we get a lot of... we see her become an adult. Mm-hmm. We kind of see that kid naivety, or is it naivete?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
We see her being a kid, and then we see her being an adult very, very quickly, which sometimes can
Distrusting the parent when she thinks she's
be... Listen,
mature
she
enough.
thinks she knows
yeah.
everything. That's just how it is.
She's apparently a
So-
teenager.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to make us a joke of your expense, but I decided to move past it. We'll circle back to that later. Yasaburo, he gives his disinterest in the Empire once again, and kind of like his group, his clan, the stormtroopers start coming. which once again it gave me real Solo vibes because we see like the bike troopers and
Which
Solos,
is-
the security.
I put a note about this. This is their speeder bikes, but they weren't scout troopers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They were like the police, like the security
They were
on
like
Corellia.
not private, but like police force, not like
You just
every
wanted
other
to say
time you
private.
see every other time you see speeder bikes and it's an Imperial trooper, it's a scout trooper.
Exactly.
So it was cool to see that they kept kind of in line with the Solo and didn't go the easy route.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that. So after they all run away, Lop and Ocho are in their speeder. Once again, this family speeder, dude, Solo. It looks
Very
just
much, yeah.
like the one that he hijacks at the beginning of the movie. I really enjoyed that. As they're driving down the bridge, they get towards the end, and we see stormtroopers standing and an Imperial officer.
Most
Tell me what
evil-
you thought about this Imperial
Evil,
officer.
crazy anime storm or Imperial
This
officer.
dude, what
with
I was
straight up shape. First of all, haircut is not Imperial regulation. Let's start there.
exact. Thank you. And the like he colored the tips of his ears,
And he had makeup on.
yeah, this dude.
Is not
He's
Imperial
on-
regulation.
Look, he's
Taking
so
some liberties here.
he's
Japan.
so far away from the Empire. Yeah, he's able to do some other stuff. Super
He's about as
flamboyant is not the word. What's
he's
the word
about
I'm
as
looking for?
evil as you can draw somebody to look evil
Yeah,
without
yeah,
saying like anything about them. Like you
Yeah,
just
yeah.
show a still image of him. He's like, oh yeah, that's the bad guy.
Yeah, that's the bad guy. And he was also
Eccentrically
That-
evil.
that's,
yeah.
eccentric.
Kinda reminded
That's
me
a-
of
that's a
like
good
the
word.
Joker in some.
that's exactly.
He had the kind of long, snarly,
yes,
long
yes.
nose and weird, creepy, curly smile.
the grin. Yeah,
yeah.
he kind of looks away from you as he smiles, that whole thing.
Yeah.
Of course, this guy, like you said, put him in a lineup. You know, he's the bad guy. He gives the whole spiel, right? What they're there for the planet. He's trying to use Ocho to overthrow her father, basically, because her father is at this point a domestic terrorist. He's a rebel, right?
Yep.
He's resisting against the Empire, and of course that doesn't go over well. And then we find out that Ocho has worked out a deal with the Empire to stop her father. Taking out a hidden dagger, she not only cuts herself, but also cuts off her ponytail, signifying the cut in
She
the
is
ties.
now a Jedi Knight.
She cut the Padawan braid. It's gone. She cuts off the ties. No doubt that
Very symbolic
to her
Yeah.
family. Yeah. Each one of those knots, I'm sure, in other cultures, how much you can braid your hair signifies a huge thing. How long it gets, all that kind of stuff. So cutting her hair, and once again, Imperial regulations, long hair, not cutting it. We gotta cut. Well, it got cut, so it wasn't cutting it. Now it's cut. Lop then begs Ocho to not turn away from her family, but to come back to the family. Holding her sister's braid, Lops runs away as fast as she can. Man, those big rabbit feet, she slips.
Oh yeah.
How does she not die?
Like, how does she like take such long jumps off of things?
Bro, you seen a rabbit? You know, come on.
Yeah, it is really cool to imagine if she was like a Jedi, like actually how
Using the Force to
yeah,
break
like
her falls,
what they could
all that
actually
kind of stuff.
do.
Yeah.
If that's just, I mean, she obviously
Enhancing her jump with the Force.
speed and yeah.
mhm.
I mean, we actually know she definitely has some Force ability, but
Yeah.
imagine that fully trained in that species, what it would be like would be awesome.
Yeah, it'd be super, super, super amazing. So she falls like super down to the ground. She
Hits a
doesn't
pipe,
die though.
slips, yeah.
Yeah, pipe slips, all that stuff.
Another Aladdin scene. It's
Yeah.
like, crashes through the awnings.
Yep. She then it's another
Yeah.
Aladdin. Yeah, it's a total another Aladdin scene. She then goes back to her family home, kind of like this palace. Once again, very, very Japanese. We have the sliding door, reminded me of Last Samurai.
Yeah.
Just what I know of Japanese culture, aka Epcot, Japan. Very, very Japanese looking,
Yeah.
especially with the opaque doors and whatnot. Holding her sister braid, she tells her father, quote, "She's gone too. She's taken the Empire's side," end quote. Lop again expresses her love for her clan and that she wants to stop the Empire. Her father leads her to a secret part of the house. Lighting candles and taking out a small box, he says, quote, "You have a good heart, Lop. I am sorry I looked down on you. I never meant to," end quote.
With a Jedi symbol in the shrine in the background.
Yeah, right in the background.
Yep. And that's the quote that we opened the show with.
Yeah. So
What we go into after the
now my favorite scene in the episode, because my favorite scene is coming when her and her sister fight, but when you pointed that out, I was like, this is the key turning point of the episode.
Yeah.
And that's why we use that as the beginning, because it's such a cool, it brings so much more, like, I'll get into it here, but like, who's the Jedi?
Because they also say it was hundreds of years ago.
Yeah, exactly.
And the second I saw the hilt, I think it was before they said hundreds of years. It cracks open. I'm like, oh, that's such a High Republic hilt. Mm-hmm. Like, that's literally everything that we have seen in the artwork and everything with the new High Republic era that's been introduced to us. Very gilded and gold and
frilly, like
intricate carvings and stuff on sabers, which is such a turn from what we know, like the original trilogy and even the prequel trilogy. They're
dishing out lightsabers.
They're not beautiful looking sabers. Yeah. They're utilitarian, whereas in the High Republic area, everything was about the pomp and the
frill.
Like almost. The Jedi robes had like golden robes and stuff.
Yeah.
So it was cool, like, to see like them bringing in a little bit of canon stuff, even though this isn't canon technically, but I enjoyed that.
Opening the box, we see the hilt of a lightsaber. This is the family sword. A hologram starts on the floor and spreads throughout the entire room. This ritual runs through our family. Long ago, a Jedi died on this planet. The Jedi then passed along his lightsaber to our family, aka the clan. The sword stands for their strength, their resolve, their love. Even though they are not bound by blood, they now officiate their father-daughter relationship. Lop says that she respectfully accepts the sword. Battle approaches. This scene was actually difficult's not the right word. It was like a whole trope of like, stay here, everything will be fine. Mm-hmm. Obviously, Yasa Burrow knew that he was going to face his other daughter.
Yeah.
He didn't want Lop to be subjected to that. But also, like, I feel like Yasa kind of like, I had already given up. You know, he says like, there's nothing left of the family. All that's left is this sword. This is all we have left. Yeah. There is no clan.
That was after his this. like Senpuku style, let himself die by doing the honorable thing.
Yeah. I thought it was odd, but a lot of that too has to come with a lot of his muscle, a lot of his backup had already left. You know, they didn't want to face the Empire.
Oh yeah, that's right. They did show like they all left him.
Yeah, it reminded me of like Mandalorian when the Empire shows up on Navarro and all the Mandos were like, "This is the way." Yeah, not anymore. we out. Like, here's my Beskar helmet. Yeah. This is my face. I have a gap. I'm leaving. That was a knock at me. My gap. Anyway, but you get what I'm saying.
No Mandalorian.
Listen. I'm more of a Mandalorian than you are now.
So, look at this. You see this?
This is me. Boba Fett. Anyway, so they leave off, and of course he's going off. Just a very somber moment. Mm-hmm. I would have liked to have had a little bit, this be more upbeat, like I'll be back soon, that kind of stuff. But I feel like he felt himself that he was already defeated at this point.
Definitely.
Lop cries out, "What will happen to the family?" And of course the father tells her that the sword is all that is left. Lop awaits as instructed by her father, but an explosion in the distance calls her to action. Jumping into her land speeder once again, she races to the fight.
Hits the afterburners too.
Dude, she does. And she does I'm Mary Poppins, y'all.
Yeah. Well, I had noticed like this whole time she had what looked like, I thought it was a weapon at first on her back. And then I was like, oh no, that's just an umbrella.
It's just an umbrella. It must rain a lot on this planet. I don't know. She totally Mary Poppins herself, which I didn't have a problem with. I thought it was kind of cool. And it reminded me of Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Is he cool? Hell yeah, he's cool. Like, I don't know. It
very anime.
Yeah, very, very anime. She then, of course, gets to the fight where she finds members of her clan and her father fighting her sister, Ocho. Ocho cries out again. She is doing what she must for her family. So once again, the clan is fighting against the Empire, and we have a fight between father and daughter.
I'm kind of disappointed that we never got that bad guy again. Like, I kind of was waiting. You know what?
I didn't even think of it.
I was waiting for like some big pivotal moment in this duel between the blood. Like, he was going to come in and stir the pot and just like bring Ocho to his side.
Maybe Ocho starts to go back to the family, but then he comes and kills
somebody. Yes. Like, because he seemed like the character design. He seemed like a main character. He didn't seem like he was 15 seconds and never before seen.
He's pivotal to her leaving the clan.
I was just surprised that we don't see him in this final fight scene at all.
No, I didn't even notice that. That's a really good point. And she also what did you think? Like, I actually enjoyed her character design because she mirrors
talking
her.
about Ocho? Or you talking about Lop?
Ocho.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
because she mirrors her father in they're both stubborn,
Uh-huh.
but they both have their own. They're on two different roads.
Strong opinions, and
Neither
they just
of them are
are
getting
in
off.
opposite directions. Yeah.
Yeah, neither of them are getting off.
Her father's daughter, for sure.
Yeah, 100%.
I really liked her, too, because the beginning of the episode, she's so in touch with the culture of the planet.
Yes.
And the garb that she's wearing, her hairstyle, her makeup, everything about her, which it looked very samurai for this purpose of it being
Very
an
traditional.
anime. Traditional, yeah.
Traditional
And then
royalty samurai stuff.
She cuts the hair, and she's immediately Imperial regulation in the uniform,
Yeah.
the short hair. All of her roots have been abandoned.
Yeah.
It was good to see like character development like that in such a short 15, 20, or 20 minutes.
Speaking, yeah, yeah, this is one of the longer episodes.
21, but not including all the credits, probably like 20 minutes. That was a good character development.
One thing too that I should have done more research on, but I'm kind of thinking of it now. I noticed it earlier, but I didn't notice it enough to be like, oh, I need to look this up. When I think of Director Krennic, Director Krennic wears the all white and the
outfit.
cape. Both the Joker dude and her have a similar outfit. And so what does this represent? Like, because is she a captain? Is she a commander? Is
Thrawn
she
has all white too.
Thrawn has all white. So what I'm it's escaping me what the all white represents. I know that it's something else. It could be a sector, maybe their outer rim. I don't know exactly what it is. I appreciated what she was wearing. She also has those pants that have the
Like the horse riding pants looking
exactly,
things.
yes, the high boots and all that. It makes me really want an Imperial outfit.
Yeah.
I really liked it.
I know a guy that knows where to get them.
And she also still has the blood eye wings, by the way.
Yeah, she bit her finger.
Yes. That's an interesting.
It's a very, very elaborate way to just put some red blush on your eyes.
I'm sure there's some
Eyeshadow,
pomegranates
whatever
on
they
this planet or something. Ocho cries out again. She must do what she needs to for the family. In her case, of course, she believes that this is fighting for the Empire. Yasaburo is attacked by his daughter, and he loses his one good eye. My dude is...
Two weapons, though. Like, the two weapons they had, like, he had vibro size, and she
Yes.
had, like, a... I don't know what you call it.
Like nunchuck
three-piece
with
staff.
sai. Yeah,
Like,
dude.
Yeah, awesome weapon choices.
Yeah,
I loved that.
I loved all
and
of
if you
it.
heard the sounds, like, when he would move the size around...
They
it
sounded
had,
like
a,
lightsabers.
It had... Well, the clashes were, like, a lightsaber sound, but it
yes,
had,
yes,
like,
yes.
a vibraty, like, a mechanical sound to his...
Yeah.
as they moved it around.
All the fight scenes... This was in the upper echelons of the fighting that we've seen in Visions, in my opinion.
Definitely.
Yeah,
definitely.
I really liked this one. It is up to you now, Lop. You must defend the family's honor and defeat your sister.
I'm blind!
Jumping to attack Lop. Ocho's attack is ultimately defended as she activates a green-bladed lightsaber. The green-bladed lightsaber, once again, we have this overarching theme in Visions where we have this... why am I blanking on the sword? Samurai sword. Mm-hmm. What is a samurai sword called?
A katana?
Thank you. My goodness.
I wasn't sure where you were going
Yeah,
with
the
that.
katana type blade, just like the dark saber as we talked about last episode. This was the one that we hinted at. And then, of course, in episode 9, we have more of these katana style. How are you okay with seeing more?
Well, did you notice when she ignites this saber?
There's also writing on it.
Yeah.
That one, that did not sit well with me.
I didn't like that
I
either.
didn't like it. Put it on the hilt. Don't put it in.
It should not be into the energy of the blade. That was a little...
That was a little much.
I mean, you see that on a katana, yes, but that didn't resonate like as a good thing to me.
100%. I 100% agree. It doesn't resonate with me. Put that on the hilt. Put it on... You know how sometimes...
Why was it not Orabesh? Like, if it would have been in Orabesh, it probably would have hit a little different. But
yeah. And it was... It was
in Japanese, like, that's a killer for me.
Once again, it's not canon. I mean, there's reasons behind it, but... the thing that you always say really well is it took you out of it.
Right.
So did that take you out of it?
Yes, it did.
Yeah.
That's why I wrote it down.
Yeah,
I'm like, why is it in Japanese on the energy part of the blade, not the hilt?
It took me out of it too. And also, there's not any snippet as to what it says.
Yeah.
So it's like it's made.
They say like you have our family's lightsaber, and that's the moment. It's the zoomed in picture, and you can see that on the blade.
Well, but here's the thing: we would have to assume that the Jedi who made the saber is the one who put what it says on there, not them.
I doubt they're sabersmiths.
Exactly. So what does it say? What is it? I don't know. We're deep diving too much, but
it was a
that's
weird.
why
It was a weird
out.
choice.
Yeah.
It was a really weird choice.
But how do you feel about the katana shape? Are you kind of over it?
I love it. I mean, I think
it's becoming a little much for me at this point.
Yeah, but for being an anime of
you're not wrong.
Like, yeah, I'm fine with it because it also does canonically exist, so it's not like it's their own idea.
True.
So especially with an episode like this where the cast is so traditional, it made sense that that's what they would have, whether it's just for the sake of the art that this chose to do the character development in and what their models of everything looked like for the world. But I mean, I think it's cool. I don't want every saber to be like that by any means.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. As the battle continues between the two sisters, Lop, of course, pleads with her sister for a final time to come home and to turn against the Empire. In what was probably the final straw, Ocho destroys TD. Rip TD.
Mm-hmm.
Just yeeting that droid.
Maybe he survived.
Maybe, I don't know.
She carries him away.
Listen, she hit him pretty hard. But anyway.
Well, she also got double X slashed through her body.
That's true, and she was perfectly fine.
Yeah.
She had like a light... She had
it's like, you cut my jacket.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
she had some sort of vest on. So Lop refuses, of course, to give up on her sister. Flurry after flurry, the sisters clash with their weapons. And as you just pointed out, Lop slashes her sister across the chest in an X-like fashion. However... in the most villain trope thing ever.
Oh, yeah.
She just rises from the shadows on top
ship.
of a ship and is carried away, and that's the end of the episode.
So,
go ahead.
I don't think that this ends in a very satisfying way for a one-shot episode.
I agree.
I don't know how I feel about it.
If I would have seen the entire Empire leave the planet because of what they did, it would have helped. But with just her sister kind of being like, oh, you kind of killed my platoon, and that's the only vibe that I get. I 100% agree that the ending was not satisfying for a one-off.
I think this one and The Ninth Jedi are the two that end in the most, this is not the end of the story ways, like that it is not over. This is not it feels like it was not created to be a one-shot episode. It feels like it was created to be the start of something.
And that's a great segue into the question we always ask. Do you want to continue to see now blind Yasa Burrow, Ocho, and
Ocho's Imperial officer? Lop is obviously, because we didn't even touch that, she force pulls the father's sai into her hand.
Yeah.
And that's where she gets the second weapon that lets her do the X.
Yep.
She's a force adept of some kind.
Yep.
I like the dark undertones of the episode. I like the almost Empire-esque vibe, like where the Empire is winning, they're all losing. Like, people are turning to the Empire. Like, that's the thing that they're going. I would like to see it continue.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would want it. This could work for an anime, but because I associate Jackson with comic books,
yes,
I think that this could lend itself to being like of the new Marvel Star Wars comics.
This is a great continuation of the little tidbit conversation that we had last time, which was I'm kind of upset with the amount of amazing stories Star Wars is choosing to tell via written media, via comic books instead of screen time, because animated Star Wars has just been elevated to a level that we've never seen, which in a lot of circumstances has elevated past live action Star Wars.
Yeah.
But this one in particular, I would like to see the story continued, but I want it in like straight manga.
Oh, manga would be a great
straight
one for
manga.
This, yeah.
Like I want like 3 or 4 books all together. I want the story to continue. I want to see what happens with the rest of the planet. I want to see what she becomes, all that stuff. I really enjoyed this episode.
Era, like the time era that they chose. Yeah. I definitely agree with you.
Is this the top? So we have 9 episodes in total. Is this a top four?
Yeah, this is in my top half.
So
Call
this
it
is
top four.
So the top four.
Yeah.
I think this would be
In no specific order, I'll ramble mine off.
Okay.
Top specific, or no specific order, top four would be this episode,
Yes.
The Ninth Jedi,
Yes.
The Duel,
Yes.
and probably The Elder.
The Duel, really?
Yeah, the first one.
You picked The Duel? Yeah, no, sorry. I'm thinking, I thought you said Twins for some reason.
no.
That's where my head went.
No.
Yeah. So for me, it would be The Duel, The Elder, Lop,
Tatooine Rhapsody.
and Tatooine Rhapsody.
knew it
I'm
was
putting
coming.
Tatooine Rhapsody in my top four, man. And right there in the fifth is The Ninth Jedi.
Okay.
Right, but honestly, I think that Ninth Jedi could...
Tatooine Rhapsody would be 5 for me.
And I think that the Ninth Jedi could edge out this one for the fifth. So I could change out the fourth and fifth spot, but still, yeah. Dude, I love the Rhapsody, man. That episode's got a special place in my heart, man. But anyway, I did enjoy this episode. I do truly hope it continues.
I love the art style.
Art style was really, really good.
Yeah.
Did you have anything overarching?
Overarching?
Yeah. Do you? Okay. Here I got another question for you. Do you want to see an additional 9 Star Wars Visions episodes, or would you rather see 9 new episodes?
Well, let's talk about that after we've finished all of them.
Okay. Well, we'll do that.
That's a good question, though.
Guys, thank you for joining us this week on KonKon's Cantina. Of course, the next week's episode is we'll be covering the 9th and final episode of Star Wars Visions, and maybe we'll be doing a recap episode of some sort, or we'll be moving into new topics before we go into Book of Boba Fett. And I forgot to mention this, but we'll mention it on the next episode. If you have gotten this far in the episode, thank you very much, guys. Don't forget, you can call in for Book of Boba Fett like we did for Mandalorian Season 2. We have a number that you can call and leave messages. We want you to be
live.
a part of the
call
episode.
in live. If you schedule it, call in live.
Call in live. Guys, I was your boy, it's KonKon, and sitting across from me as always,
Justin Baker.
we'll see you next time.
See ya!